The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
He is no stranger to the law, and he's finding himself in legal trouble once again. The latest episode in the case of Eric Cantu coming up.
Plus, what is taking so long? That's the question many domestic violence survivors are asking as they wait for justice in criminal cases. Tonight, we're finally getting some answers.
Midweek rain on the way as a cool front approaches. We'll talk about the changes and the rainfall potential in just a bit.
A man who survived a shooting by a San Antonio police officer 3 years ago is once again under arrest.
Eric Cantu was arrested on Friday for alleged assault from last year, in which investigators say he stomped on a woman's head at a gas station.
Our Garrett Berger is at that gas station this evening, joining us live now. So walk us through, Garrett, what happened in this latest case?
Well, Myra, according to this affidavit, it happened at these pumps over here at the Shell station at 410 and Roosevelt almost a year ago in the early hours of the morning. Witnesses say they saw Cantu pull a woman out of the car by her hair, punching her, kicking her, even stomping on her head before taking off in the car. Now, it's not entirely clear what led up to the assault. The woman was intoxicated and didn't remember how she exited the vehicle. But she told police she was screaming and Cantu was shaking her and telling her to shut up before punching her arms. Cantu had apparently picked her up at a party earlier in the evening after she left because of nearby gunfire. A friend of the victim said Cantu was trying to get the woman in his car saying, quote, "I'm Eric Cantu. I'm Eric Cantu. Look me up on Safari." One of the witnesses at the gas station said they knew Cantu or recognized Cantu from TV coverage and an altercation with the witness's brother. The car at the gas station was linked to Cantu, and the victim ID'd him in a photo lineup, saying, quote, "I remember his face when he was hitting me." Now, you probably remember Eric Cantu because back in 2022, the then 17-year-old was shot in a McDonald's parking lot by former San Antonio police officer James Brennan. Brennan, who believed he recognized Cantu's car as one that had evaded him the day before, opened the door of Cantu's parked car and then opened fire as the teen reversed and sped off. Cantu ended up on life support but pulled through. A passenger in the vehicle was uninjured. Brennan is scheduled to go to trial next month on an aggravated assault by a public servant charge. If convicted, he could face up to life in prison. Now, Cantu's original charges from that shooting were quickly dismissed. He has, however, faced several other legal challenges. A theft charge and hit and run charge were both dismissed, but he is currently on probation for 2 counts of evading detention or arrest in a vehicle. It's not clear exactly how this new arrest will affect that probation. Live on the South Side, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Garrett, thank you. Jimmy Kimmel Live is returning to KSAT tomorrow night after being off the air for nearly a week.
In a statement released by ABC, the network decided to reinstate the late night show after having several conversations with host Jimmy Kimmel. Their decision comes after the ABC suspended the show indefinitely following comments Kimmel made following Charlie Kirk's assassination.
The show will return to KSAT tomorrow night at 10:35 p.m. after the night beat.
A far west Bexar County neighborhood is struggling to deal with the deaths of 2 children.
People have left stuffed animals and balloons outside the home on Chancery Gate, where 6-year-old Savani Stevenson and his 3-year-old sister, Miani Islar, were found dead this weekend. That's not far from Culebra and Galm Roads. Their mother, 28-year-old Tiana Islar, told sheriff's investigators that they died inside of a hot car.
But Sheriff Javier Salazar says there were some inconsistencies with her story and she was arrested. The deaths have left people, including strangers, completely heartbroken.
It's sad. It's disheartening. Make you want to just hold your grandkids, your kids a lot closer to you, because you never know what the next day is going to bring to you.
The Northside School District confirmed the oldest child, Savani Stevenson, was a first grader at Reed Elementary. Counselors were on hand today for any grieving students.
Questions tonight after a violent robbery at a Westside gas station overnight. It happened on Highway 90 near Loop 410. They say a man with a knife demanded money from the register, and when the clerk refused, police say the man jumped over the counter and stabbed the clerk several times in the back. The suspect then grabbed several items before running away. The clerk was taken to the hospital, and we're still working to figure out the severity of his injuries. We now know when murder suspect Brad Simpson will be going to trial. It's tentatively set for February 13th, 2026. Simpson, you may remember, is charged in the death of his wife, Suzanne Simpson, who was last seen on October 6, 2024. Judge Joel Perez had initially ordered prosecutors to hand over all the case evidence gathered by Texas Rangers to the defense by August 9th. But that deadline was extended since the July 4th flooding delayed the investigation.
A commander with the San Antonio Park Police Department is now in trouble with the law himself. According to a San Antonio Police Department report, Lieutenant Timothy Packard is accused of swerving into a vehicle on August 18th on Walsham Road and then leaving that scene without exchanging information with the other driver. City officials say Packard has been placed on administrative duty, but they've not said whether the wreck happened while he was on duty. We're learning more about the man killed in what's been called a freak accident. 72-year-old David Monroe died Friday after a jet engine fell on top of him at a loading dock on the Port San Antonio campus. He was the founder of the San Antonio Museum of Science and Technology, which is located at Port SA. Monroe was described as a prolific inventor and a driven entrepreneur. The KSAT team released a statement following that tragic accident. It reads in part, quote, "His final chapter was bringing this impact to all corners of San Antonio. He will be greatly missed by his family, friends, and colleagues at KSAT and beyond," end quote.
As criminal domestic violence cases move through the system, we're getting answers for survivors on what's taking so long. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been digging into each part of this complicated process. I started with the backlog at the district attorney's office and am now moving on to the court system, which has its own backlogs. Today, I'm breaking down the felony courts numbers, talking to a longtime judge about what's going right and what still needs to happen. This is part of my series on domestic violence, Loving in Fear. A reported domestic violence case goes from law enforcement to the district attorney's office to the courts. Once the person is indicted, the case is assigned to a judge, like 379th Criminal District Court Judge Ron Ronhell.
I am a felony district court judge, so we handle felony cases.
Felony and misdemeanor family violence cases are handled differently, but both had cases pile up during the pandemic.
And because you can only try one trial a week, with 30 new cases coming in weekly, there's only so much that a court can do.
On the felony side, it finally seems to be getting better.
Each of these numbers represents a survivor that is very scared in the process.
It's one thing to say the system is improving. It's one thing to say the numbers are coming down, but that doesn't make a difference to that one person who's a victim of domestic violence.
In the 10 felony courts combined, the total family violence case backlog is 849 cases. In 2024, it was 1,162. That's about a 27% decrease in just a year. And court administrators broke this down even further for us, listing cases that have been pending for more than 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years. So for cases that have been pending for more than 1 year since indictment, the total for felony cases is at 174. That's down from 184 last year. For cases pending for over 2 years, right now there are 52 cases, down from 104 last year. And for cases pending 3 years, there are 33, and that's down from 62 last year. While the numbers are dropping, any backlog is delaying justice and safety for survivors. Like many people we've heard from, Ron Hell said it's all about resources, citing a statewide study.
This answer about a year ago telling us in Bexar County that we are lacking 2.7 judges to maintain the current caseload among district courts. County courts are lacking 3 judges, so that's really 6 judges total.
He said the county has actually been receptive to that.
They've advised us that they're willing to pay for courts, new courts to come online. The issue is there's no space.
Is there a remedy for that?
There's talks that we've had on moving the jury room downstairs and put in some more courts there. There is courtroom space in these courthouses. The county just needs to do it, right?
The county confirmed to KSAT there have been discussions about the need for additional space, but there are no specific details or plans laid out yet. If you or someone you know is suffering in an abusive relationship, we want to remind you there's so much help for you. We have compiled a long list of resources on ksat.com/domestic violence. You can get there by scanning this QR code on your screen.
Let's take a look at traffic out here during the 6 o'clock commute. The camera here, we're going to take you to a view at I-10 at Probant. You can see it's really the westbound lanes that are stop and go, but even eastbound lanes a little further up from this camera view, it looks to be slowing down a little bit as well. Just something to keep in mind along I-10 and Probant. Well, from the roads to the skies, there was a new international flight launching out of San Antonio International Airport. Air Canada announcing that nonstop service from SAT to the Toronto Pearson International Airport in Ontario.
Adding Toronto to our map doesn't just serve passengers, it serves our entire economic ecosystem.
So when can you hop on that direct flight to Canada? Departures will begin in May of 2026.
It is going to be a long time before the Texas Hill Country feels some sense of normalcy after the summer flooding, but there is an opportunity coming up for you to help the hunt community. We're going to show you how.
Plus, we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and a group of local dancers is sharing their story with a new generation. That's next here on the news at 6. We asked, and boy, you delivered. San Antonio's top businesses, from restaurants to dog groomers to plumbing and air conditioning services, they've been named in SA Picks 2025.
We received thousands of nominations across nearly 100 categories, and the votes are in. We have the full list of winners up on KSAT.com. Just look for this article on our homepage.
Among piles of burned books, it would look like this fire just happened yesterday. But here along Duke Road, the fire was 6 months ago. Coming up tonight of the night beat, where this community stands and the help they still need.
Well, Ballet Folklorico is a Mexican folk dance that showcases vibrant performances that tell a story.
And one local group has years of wisdom, and now they're passing it down to a group of elementary students.
Such a special story. Erica Hernandez joined Las Abuelitas de Oro as they practice with Los Rayitos del Sol from Hawthorne Academy.
Every movement has a meaning. The ladies of Las Abuelitas de Oro take pride in bringing the beauty of Ballet Folklorico to life, and it gives them a reason to keep moving. The women range in age from 72 to 86. Mary Cima de Villa and Dolores de Leon Savage, both 84, say for them it is so much more than just dancing.
Most of the times it is with the way we move, and we move our skirt, our feet, our hands.
My dancing has improved my hope. It has. I would recommend that to everybody, because we can't just sit there and do nothing.
And now the ladies are passing on their knowledge to the pre-K through second grade group Los Rayitos del Sol from Hawthorne Academy.
And it's so much more than a flick of the skirt. They're teaching these kids so much more. You ready?
And the kids learn what the dances come from. They don't know the steps. They know the dances.
It's like a storytelling.
The partnership between the two groups is one of few in Texas that brings elders and young children together in an art-based program. The hope is for the beauty of Ballet Folklorico to be passed on for generations to come.
When we were growing up, it was very hard. But now that the culture has bloomed, especially here in San Antonio.
I like to keep the culture alive, and hoping, dancing with the kids and passing on that tradition, and our heritage has to stay alive.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Them dancing together just brings me so much joy.
Those young dancers. I'm going to go watch that story again on KSAT.
I feel like what I want is to join them all. Right? We need some intermediate.
I feel like they could teach us a thing or two.
They could.
For sure. All right, Adam, we got some more rain chances headed our way.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. Midweek rain is likely. Scattered to widespread in nature by Wednesday later in the day, on into Wednesday night, and then ending probably sometime around the morning drive on Thursday. So anticipate the evening commute Wednesday and the morning commute on Thursday to be impacted by rain. Here's the big picture and what we're dealing with. Upper level high over Mexico, still influencing our weather a little bit, but we have these drifting, cut off upper level lows. And with those, especially this time of year, you get some cooler temperatures. Notice the 60s and 70s associated with the upper low in the Rockies, even some 70s around Lake Superior and the Great Lakes. Well, some of this cooler air is actually going to move southward in the form of a cool front that arrives on Wednesday. But don't get too excited. This is not one of those fronts that hits and you feel it and everything changes quickly. Now, this is going to be a subtle frontal passage when it comes to what you're going to feel and any changes in temperatures and humidity. But you will notice the rain with this, of course. We're expecting fairly widespread rain, North Texas, all the way through the hill country Wednesday morning. And then later in the day on Wednesday, especially afternoon and evening, along and south of Highway 90, and then into the night, Wednesday night, and early Thursday morning. One of the benefits of this front being slow is that it's going to prolong the opportunity for rainfall across south central Texas. As for accumulations, this is like any other situation. It's not going to be equal opportunity, and there's going to be some bullseyes of maybe more than 2 inches in a few localized areas, and then elsewhere you'll see significantly less. Now, here's just one computer representation of what could happen rain-wise, showing 1 to 2 inches across San Antonio and some surrounding areas, and then you get in other parts it's even less. But really, we all have about the same opportunity at 1 to 2 inches of rain. It's not going to be everybody getting that much. There will be some, though, and that could lead to street flooding. So for Wednesday night and then even the morning commute on Thursday, we'll watch out for street flooding and impacts to travel. As for hail, there is the off chance. We can't rule out a few strong to severe storms Wednesday evening into Wednesday night, and that could produce some localized hail about the size of quarters, 1 inch in diameter. And then with that, of course, the chance of localized wind gusts of 40 to 60 miles per hour. At a scale of 0 to 5, 5 being guaranteed severe storms and a lot of them, we're at about a 1. And of course, 0 would be no chance. So we're at about a 1 out of 5 on that scale. 95, that was our high today. And notice the morning low of 77. Way above average. The average low in the morning is 68, and we're actually going to be dipping below that starting Friday as some slightly cooler air moves in, and more importantly, drier air that cools off more efficiently. 95 now. Here's the key, though, that dew point, 67. It's muggy. 67. 67. I knew it was going to come up at some point. Look it up if you don't know, or ask your kids, ask neighbors if they're if you don't have kids. It's one of those things that's going around. It's so weird. I still don't fully get it, but okay. I'm young and cool with the kids. Dewey's in the 60s now, and then we drop off by Friday. Dew points really drop off, lasting through the weekend and even into the early part of next week. 95 right now, 85 by 10 o'clock, midnight 81. We start the day tomorrow at 77. So more of the same, basically. 90 at noon, 95 the high temperature. It's Wednesday. We'll see temperatures trim back a little bit, even a few triple digits, I should say, in some parts south and west of San Antonio tomorrow in the typically hotter spots. By Wednesday, 92. Thursday, 87. Look at Friday, 88. So highs in the upper 80s and mornings dipping back into the mid 60s starting Friday. It was one of those memes that went around about a 6'7" basketball player.
You're making me feel
and then kids just started saying 6'7" and then 6'7".
Mine does it too. I don't get it. I don't know.
Larry came in knowing what it was. I'm like, am I the only one?
Just got to laugh about it. Just got to laugh.
Kids have to be old enough for it.
Yeah.
Callie's a little young yet, I think.
She is. I feel left out.
Once you get there, you'll be telling us stuff we don't know.
That's okay.
All right, Larry, we got a new game of the week. Alamo Heights at Bernie this week.
Yeah, so they played last year at Alamo Heights, and this was a heck of a game won by the Mules. This year they're reversing it, and Alamo Heights is going to play at Bernie. It's our game of the week. We're going to hear from both sides coming up, and it's week 5, so that means a brand new 12's Top 12. We got it after the break. Our game of the week, Friday night, we'll see the Alamo Heights Mules at the Bernie Greyhounds in a District 13 5A D2 contest. And we start with the visiting Mules and their 4-0 record. So far, they've beaten Seguin 70-35, Churchill 54-24, Canyon 42-28, and Clemens last week 33-30. That tight game at Clemens is just what the Mules needed before facing Bernie.
I thought that was extremely important. You know, we needed a game with adversity like that because those are the kind of games we're going to have in the playoffs. We all came out, ready to go, and we were ready to stay in the game, and that was great.
I think it was really important because you're playing teams that will probably be bigger than the teams that we're going to play in district, but it'll help us with playoffs. Like that last game will help us in like a deep playoff run if we get there.
It's super important. You know, it was a really close matchup. I think we played a team that gave us adversity and gave us challenge, and that'll really prepare us for district.
Bernie enters 3-1, falling to Piper in their opener 35-28, and then rebounding with wins versus Laredo United, Medina Valley, and last week topping 6A East Central 49-13, beating the Hornets before taking on the Mules in this district opener is a good thing for the Greyhounds.
I think it was huge. I mean, we beat a pretty good team. They were great. I thought we came in really hot. We had a great practice, had a great game. Just overall, defense was phenomenal. Offense was great. I think that was just really helped us boost into the Alamo Heights game.
I mean, it's big. It brings up our team a lot, showing us that we can do whatever, really. And we know this upcoming team, they're going to be a challenge, but we're up for it, and we're ready for them.
Coming off East Central, it's huge to come together as a team, especially playing away, and be able to trust each other and do our jobs and show that when we do our jobs, we have good outcomes.
It was really important. Last year we went against Heights with the loss on our belt, and I think that kind of just brought us down a little bit. It was a good little confidence boost for our team, especially playing a 6A team like that, and they're known to be a pretty good team. So.
Alamo Heights at Bernie is our game of the week, Friday night at 7. As for the road trip this week, it'll take us to Seguin, Marion, and Lavernia in that order. All right, it's week 5, and that means a brand new 12's Top 12. So let's go in Class 6A. Medina Valley is new this week at number 12. Lee is number 11. Churchill 10 and coming off a bye. Canyon is 9-2-2. Clemens is number 8. Taft is 3-1 at number 7. Brandeis is 6 and fresh off a bye. Clark is undefeated at number 5. Johnson is 4. Brennan is number 3, following their first loss of the season. Harlan is now number 2 after beating Brennan and still number 1. The Steel Knights at 3-1. How about 5A now? Lanier is down to number 12 and Bernie Champion falls to 11. Tivy is now at number 10 at 3-1. South San is 9. J 8. Southwest Legacy moves up to 7 after topping John Jay. Piper is 6. Southwest is 5. Bernie is number 4 at 3-1. Smithson Valley is number 3. Alamo Heights 2. And New Braunfels is still number 1 at 4-0. And we end with sub 5A. Kennedy is in at number 12. The Lions are 4-0. Blanco is back in at number 11. Comfort is 10. Nixon Smiley 9 at 3-0. Bandera comes in at 8. Somerset is 7. Canyon Lake is number 6 at 3-1. Antonian is number 5 coming off a bye. Poth is number 4 coming off a bye as well. Hondo is number 3. Lavernia number 2. And Davenport at 4-0 remains number 1 in our sub 5A rankings.
Well done, Larry.
Thank you.
Well done. I'm very impressed always.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. KSAT Explains is up next. Instead of hoping for a fountain of youth, what if, when it comes to aging, we knew how to age well rather than just trying to stay young forever?
Research into that very idea is happening right here in San Antonio at Texas Biomedical Research Center. And this goes well beyond gray hair and wrinkles.
So scientists there are looking at the lungs and the gut for clues on how and why our bodies change as we get older. Here's KSAT Explains.
No matter who you are or where you're from, we all do it. We age. But how we do that can be drastically different.
Even though we're 99% identical in our DNA, the building blocks of life in our bodies, we're completely different in the way we respond to this time clock over our lifetime.
Researchers at Texas Biomed want to know why, and they're looking at those building blocks of our bodies, the things we all have, to find the answers. One of those foundational biological components? Our cells.
The longest thinking in the area of aging is that things just stop working. It's called senescence.
But researchers here are discovering there's more to it than that. And the aging process starts even sooner than you might expect.
That clock actually, sorry to say, starts relatively early in life. A lot of the science is really centered around that third and fourth decade, where this clock starts ticking towards.
So what does all that have to do with these guys?
Marmosets are a unique non-human primate because they're small, and so they reproduce quickly and they have a shorter lifespan.
Marmosets have systems similar to those in humans. In their roughly 8-year lifespan, scientists can learn a lot about how these animals age, and therefore how humans age as well. In the marmoset, scientists here are looking at the gut and what's called the microbiome, the naturally occurring bacteria and viruses that live in your gut.
And so for the marmosets, we've found that their microbiome changes the same as humans change as we age. We lose that diversity, we lose the access to nutrients from the microbiome. So our questions revolve around what happens if we transfer in a younger microbiome. We're looking to see if that transfer of young will restore gut health, reduce inflammation, restore cognitive health.
All things that deteriorate with age. New research has already shown that improving gut health could delay or even prevent dementia. It's an area of study called the gut-brain axis.
Fecal microbiome transplants are becoming a common clinical treatment.
Yeah, that one needs a little more explanation. What is a fecal microbiome transplant?
Well, it's kind of gross, but basically they've taken fecal material from healthy individuals. They're called super donors. They have very healthy microbiome. They pellet that into pills and they transplant it, or they do a surgical transplant for individuals that are very ill.
There have been studies that show transplanting a fecal microbiome from a lean mouse to an obese mouse helps the heavier mouse lose weight, and transplanting a microbiome from an obese mouse to a lean one helps the lighter mouse gain weight. But this isn't just about what one mouse or one human versus another chooses to eat.
Some of it's diet. It's how the microbes are responding to diet, but a lot of it's our own DNA. It's what we were seeded with when we were born. That community took root in our gut.
It's also what we're exposed to. Antibiotics affect gut bacteria, even stress. Texas biomed scientists are also looking at the lungs for clues about aging. And the pink stuff in this cup is a groundbreaking way to do it.
We called it as a magic cocktail.
This cocktail, invented here at Texas Biomed, mimics the environment inside human lungs. Getting a sample of an actual human lung isn't easy, and it got even harder during the pandemic.
The scope goes down and we can wash a segment of the lung and get cells from there. It's expensive. It results in a small number of cells, and we can only do certain studies for that environment.
But with this mixture, these researchers can isolate cells pulled from a blood sample, add them to this solution, and a few days later, they have cells that function like those in a human lung.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
And so the excitement of understanding the cellular basis of aging is that maybe that's a way to slow the aging process down.
An entire industry is built around aging. Products, supplements, everyone looking for that magic something.
You see probiotics on the shelf, eat this yogurt, eat this thing, because it'll make you healthier. We're just starting to study what those effects are.
The research here isn't about that, nor is it an effort to keep us all young.
This is about functionality and maintaining that functionality as long as possible.
I don't have any interest in increasing longevity. Humans live long enough for the world and resources that we have.
I don't think this is about cure or having us live forever. It's simply about trying to reduce the chances of frailty coming into our lives earlier.
If we can prevent that and push that off, and not every 80-year-old will run marathons, but it would be great if they were healthy enough to have that option.
So this isn't about stopping aging, but more learning how we can age well.
Right, we want to age well.
That's great. I love that because it's putting a more positive spin on what's naturally happening.
We're all going to do it.
Exactly.
We're all going to age. So how we do it, that's the question. All right, you can check out this episode of KSAT Explains or any other in our streaming library. Just scan that QR code there. You can also find us on YouTube, the free KSAT Plus app, and KSAT.com. And while you're there, let us know what you want to see explained. You can watch any episode on demand anytime. We'll be right back.
Well, San Antonio Startup Week is less than a month away, and this year it won't just be working professionals pitching their ideas. Teams of high school students are going to get the same shot.
So Devin Karp introduces us to a group of entrepreneurs who've already raised thousands of dollars and are ready to take their startup to college and beyond.
People say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But for these 5 high school entrepreneurs, they weren't thinking about apples.
Over half of our country drinks soda every single day, and they know the terrible effects it leaves. All over the internet, we see that even stevia has negative effects. There's terrible things in Coke, Diet Coke. So we wanted that one solution that just had completely clean ingredients.
That's how they came up with Fizzy, a soda with natural caffeine, real fruit juice, and healthier sugars like agave and allulose. And get this, they've already got nearly $10,000 in seed funding.
You guys aren't even 18, and you're on the same playing field as some of these other startups in town. How cool is that?
It's so cool. Yeah, it's such an awesome experience. Yeah.
We're doing the same thing that Geekdom's doing, same kind of curriculum, but at a younger age.
They're part of the Business Incubator program here at Alamo Heights High School, coming together to learn how to start a startup, practicing pitches, developing a business plan, and looking at competitors already doing the same thing.
People were like floored. These are high school students? And I'm like, yes, because they were elevator pitching like it was nothing.
This year, they'll have the chance, along with 11 other high schools, to pitch their work at Startup Week, right alongside people who've been working professionals for years.
Because they get to go out there and get their first taste of real world. I'm talking to a stranger and getting feedback. It may feel good, it may not feel good, but they're gonna get the feedback from other people to know if they're on the right track or if they need to pivot or iterate their idea. So it's a win-win-win.
But Fizzy takes this seriously and is ready to rise to the challenge. Because this is more than a business. For these girls, it's a mission to be the best in the marketplace.
People are drinking these healthy sodas right now, and we want them to be able to drink things that are actually good for their body. So even if Fizzy can start other companies doing similar things, that would be amazing.
Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
Let's take a look at a traffic tie-up we're keeping an eye on here. This is the camera Highway 90 at Loop 1604 North. You can see that 18-wheeler there, a tanker truck of some kind it looks like, is right in the middle of the intersection. It's got traffic blocked off from even going down those lanes right there, traffic being diverted. And you can see up in the right-hand corner of your screen, traffic that's choosing another route is slow going. So something to keep in mind. Highway 90 and 1604 northbound.
And taking a look outside with live cam, 95 degrees. We are having to deal with some heat before we get to lower temperatures. We'll be right back. Adam Caskey has your details.
You know, the Hill Country may never be the same following the devastating July 4th floods, but still there are so many people doing everything they can to rebuild.
And on October 18th, you can do your part to help with the recovery through a benefit concert. So Marissa Rios is someone who is connected closely with the community in Hunt, so closely she decided to move there permanently.
So she's now coordinating the Hope for Hunt concert at Pure Country Barbecue and Grill in Boerne. The money raised will go back to the community that she now calls home.
It's going to be 100% proceeds, 50-50, so 50 to the Hunt Volunteer Fire Department. They were the backbone when all this started, and I saw them and they delivered and they were called upon and they came through for this town. The other half is going to be to the Hunt Preservation Society, and this is just for the actual hunt.
So they have 1,500 tickets to sell, and they are also looking for sponsors. So head to KSAT.com and search Hunt to get connected.
And we are also told that Skylar Darrington, a Camp Mystic survivor, will be performing during that show as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really is. Just continued ways to help out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we have continued hope that the that the temperatures will finally fall. It's coming.
We're headed in the right direction,
Yes.
right?
This is kind of like a whisper from spring, or from fall, I should say, right?
A whisper.
A whisper from fall. Yeah, feeling very poetic today, right? It's not even that poetic, is it? It's just, that was never my subject. Anyway, rain.
Stick to the science.
Yes, I'm going to. I'll make thermometers like a champ, but I don't write haikus. All right, rain is scattered Wednesday night into very early on Thursday. Storms are possible. The off chance of a severe storm, 1 to 2 inches for some of the most fortunate communities, generally less than an inch, I think, for the majority of us. And a cool front, lower humidities, and especially some cooler mornings. Look at our morning temperature trend. Warm, 10 degrees above average the next couple of mornings. By Friday and Saturday, we're down in the mid 60s. So just a smidge below average for the morning temperatures by Friday into the upcoming weekend. Here's what's going to change things. Cool front. Off to the north of us, slowly moving into Texas tomorrow. North Texas tomorrow. By Wednesday, it moves into our neck of the woods. Notice even Wednesday morning in the hill country and Edwards Plateau, with it some areas of rain scattered along that front and some embedded downpours, and the real rainfall amounts are going to come down to who exactly gets those downpours, or even a few of them. And then notice the front does push through by the afternoon on Wednesday. It's south of San Antonio Wednesday evening, but it's not going to cause quick, abrupt changes. This is not the kind of cold front that slams us and boom, we feel everything change right away. No, remember, it's a little whisper from fall, if you will. Rainfall potential, like we said, 1 to 2 inches possible in some areas. This is just a potential, kind of an estimate more than anything. It's really going to come down to where the downpours set up. So this, for example, says 3/4 of an inch New Braunfels. Give or take, all right? It could be more, or probably more or less, all right? It's not going to be exactly 0.75. If it was, mind-blowing. Street flooding. Possible Wednesday night and for the morning commute on Thursday. 2 inches for some folks. Again, that's going to be the exception and not the norm. Can't rule out quarter-size hail as well in some localized storms, and even some wind gusts 40 to 60 miles per hour. All right, and that's going to be the exception as well and not the norm. Just the off chance of a severe storm. Hurricane Gabrielle, Cat 4. Became a whopper just east of Bermuda. Max sustained winds of 140 miles per hour. Check out the wave heights. These are some of the estimates of the wave heights, up to 29 feet near the center of that storm, and that's just east of Bermuda. So Bermuda, of course, getting higher surf as a result of this storm, but not actually making landfall on Bermuda. And the highest wind staying just off the Bermuda coast. Now notice how it's going to curve out over the open ocean and away from the U.S. and stay out in sea. Sometimes people call them fish storms, but they do impact shipping channels as well. Now notice areas of development we're watching for a 50 to 80% chance of a few of these tropical waves that are out there. So tropics are starting to activate again, I guess you could say, and see a little more action out there right now. We're a few weeks past the peak of hurricane season, but you can still see a decent amount this time of year. Notice temperatures tomorrow morning on the warm side, well into the 70s for most of us, low 70s in the hill country, then 90 at noon, 95 the afternoon high temperature, more of the same tomorrow really. And then it's Wednesday when things start to change. Mid 90s tomorrow, Wednesday with the enhanced, rain chances by the afternoon, 92, so not as hot. And then 87 on Thursday, 88 for the high on Friday. So no, not a huge hard hitting cold front, but there will be some subtle changes and especially lower humidity by Friday for several days thereafter. We'll be right back here in a couple minutes.
All right, just a few minutes away from 7 o'clock when our streaming show kicks off. KSAT Sports Now.
Larry Ramirez in the newsroom with a preview. Larry.
Yes, KSAT Sports Now is coming up in just a matter of moments. We have a lot of football to talk about, of course. I'm going to start off with the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys losing to the Chicago Bears yesterday, but the bigger issue here is Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. He hurt his left ankle in the game yesterday. Afterwards, he said he was going to play this coming Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. That turns out most likely it will not be the case. We've got the latest on his ankle injury. Plus, the Houston Texans, man, they lost a close game at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just something going on with the Texans offense. Their 3 losses this season, because they are 0-3, have been by a combined 13 points. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, of course, it's big game coverage. It is now week 5, so we have a brand new 12's Top 12. And we're going to look back at the best plays from week 4 BGC. We got some good ones to choose from. That's all coming up at 7 o'clock, streaming on KSAT Sports Now.
We have an updated view of that traffic trouble spot here at 90 and 1604, and the view's not much better. You can see how far traffic is backed up on the main lanes and the access road. Thanks for watching the news at 6.
Have a great night.
We'll see you on the Night Beat.